Most affiliate marketers burn out before they ever make their first dollar. And it's not because they don't work hard, it's because they're not working smart. They spend too much time chasing trends, over editing, overthinking, and second guessing every post that they make. In this video, I'm breaking down the exact content roadmap or game plan that I have used and that you can utilize even if you work a full-time job to produce content on a regular basis that will actually convert to sales and put money in your pocket. The first thing I want to talk about is mindset and strategy. Those are both very important for long-term success. So mindset and strategy are first in this video, and they are extremely important. Content is your engine. It's not your goal. Your goal isn't the content. The content is the engine that drives sales and puts money in your pocket. And it's important that you feed that engine the right way. Consistency is more important than being viral. I've never had a viral video, and I've made very, very good money doing affiliate marketing for a number of years. And so consistency is much more important than going viral. So stop chasing viral content production. I talked about this in my last video. I'll talk about this in a lot of my videos. Virality is not what you're wanting to chase. If you get it, that is great. That's a side effect of doing the consistent work for a long period of time. But chasing that end goal of going viral is not going to benefit you in the short term. If you do have a viral video, it's probably not going to be long-term success. You might have several that go viral, and that's great. But I've talked about this in my last video. If you're chasing viral videos or producing viral videos, yes, your views might be very high, but chances are your audience is not concentrated to the demographic that you're needing to present to in order to convert into sales. And so viral videos a lot of times are actually worse for your income than having consistent, good quality videos over time that actually sell whatever it is you're affiliating for. And so consistency will always be greater than virality. The next thing I'm going to talk about under mindset is topics that sell. So topics that sell can be a number of things, but it's usually not going to be a trend. I want you guys to produce what's called green content. Green content is something that if you're putting videos on YouTube, 10 years from now, somebody else is going to pull up that video that you produced and watch it and buy the product. And so when you're chasing a trend, usually that trend ends. It's a clickbait type product. These are very common, especially on TikTok. Somebody will be selling a product like maybe, let's say, a phone mount for their car, right? Well, that'll be really great for this year or maybe for 6 months. That's a viral product. It's a trend that's going around on TikTok right now, specifically that one that I've seen a number of content producers putting videos out on, but it's a trend and trends don't last. So next year, a new phone model will come out for each of the major brands, and it's probably not going to fit that phone mount, for example. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but it's a trend. Okay, so what happens when people decide they no longer want to use cell phones? There's some new gadget that comes out that replaces cell phones, right? So in 10 years from now, we don't know where technology is going to be, and there's a good chance that's not going to be green content 10 years from now. All right, so keep that in mind when you're doing your content. Something that is going to sell today and still be selling in 10 years from now. So good topics are very, very important for long-term success and building your income on a monthly and yearly basis. So I mentioned this in the last video, but you want to zero each channel that you have on a specific topic, okay? So for example, a good one that I really love is fitness. Fitness is just one of hundreds of things you could do as a main topic for your channel. And I actually have a video series I'm going to be coming out with pretty soon. In about a month, I'm going to start producing them, hopefully a little bit sooner. But I actually went through and created a list of over 300 hobbies that are very common in the United States. And out of those 300 hobbies, I've gone through and subdivided them into 5 niches. So if you pick something like fitness as your category for your content on your social media platforms, fitness can be your engine of growth and engine of sales for that platform. So let's say you create a TikTok account or a YouTube account and you're focused in the fitness, and then off of that, you'll have your niche, right? You might have niche number 1 and niche number 2, which could be maybe supplements and weightlifting equipment, okay, just for an example here. But fitness is always going to be a trend on some level. Now, we're not chasing trends, but this is green content. Anything you produce on fitness is going to be green content, right? And so you can start out with one niche that falls under fitness and work this for a couple of years, and then maybe the trend moves over to this. And I'm not saying to chase the trend, but what I'm saying is maybe you're focused on supplements and new supplements are coming out, right? Or maybe you're chasing weightlifting equipment and new weightlifting equipment comes out. But all of this feeds back under the umbrella of fitness. And so this is still going to be green content for you under this category. And so you want to focus around one content genre or category for each channel. So now if you want to move over into, let's say, raising chickens, and raising chickens is going to be your new focus for your content, you have sub niches that fall under that one too, right? Maybe you're looking at coops. Chicken coops would be number one, and maybe you're looking at number two would be egg storage or something like that. Okay, so these are going to vary over time with how popular they are in search results, but they still fall under this chicken raising category of content, and that's going to be your green content that you're focusing that channel around. So now if you want to choose, okay, well, I have two different topics right here, well, that means you need two different accounts, one for each topic. So you have a TikTok account that's focused on fitness. You have a TikTok account, same thing for YouTube, on chickens, right? So you don't want to put the same content under the same account. That's going to throw your audience way off. You need to keep these as separate audiences and separate content production themes across all the social media platforms you're posting to. So you might have a YouTube channel for fitness and an Instagram and a TikTok for fitness. That's great. Keep them fitness focused. And whatever you talk about, maybe you add a third category in here related to fitness. Over time, all of these are going to be feeding back into that main account. And they're all going to be green content because supplements are always going to be relevant. Weightlifting equipment is always going to be relevant, and whatever this is, maybe it's clothing, is always going to be relevant to fitness. So that's all green content, and it's all feeding that platform. Now, if you want to move over to chickens, now you have an account on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever for chickens, and then whatever you're feeding in here for your sub niches is going to be green content because it's related to chickens, and these are still going to be relevant content topics 10 years from now. So keep that in mind. That is what green content is. It's not a trend. A trend flares up in popularity, you go viral on it, and then it dies out, and the product is no longer viable, or it's got very minimal viability in the market that you're doing content on, and therefore, in the long run, it's almost a waste of time. All right, so the program we're going to outline here revolves around batching. We're going to be batching for success. And what that means, and the way I want you guys to start doing this and structuring your content production is in the following format. So you're going to pick out several days per week where you're going to be working on your content production. But each of those days, you're going to be doing something slightly different. So let's say for Monday, you're going to start out with batching all your hooks. So Monday, you're going to produce 10 hooks that you're going to utilize for producing content for that week. Okay, so if you guys are looking for hooks or want to create hooks, one way you can easily cheat the system is to get on ChatGPT, tell it what you're wanting to create content on, and tell it to give you hooks. Now, you don't necessarily want to copy and paste the hooks that it gives you, but it's great for brainstorming and coming up with ideas for your 10 hooks that you're going to use in the content for that week. Now, like I said, don't just copy and paste the hook ideas. A lot of times they're phenomenally great, but you want to tweak those a little bit and make them perfect for you and for the content you want to produce. You don't want your hooks to be misleading for the content you produce, okay? But like I said, it's a great brainstorming tool to come up with ideas for content for that week. All right, let's say on Tuesday, you're going to do something different, but you're still going to be working on the content for the week, okay? You're going to be structuring your content for the week. So based on these 10 hooks, you're going to come up with bullet points for your videos. Now, these bullet points work really good. I'm not saying you should script all of your videos, but bullet points work very, very well, especially for me for producing content. Like, for example, this video, I'm using bullet points to produce this video. So the bullet points just tell me what that topic is going to be for that little section on the video. And so those bullet points really help me with producing the content in a structured format that's contiguous throughout the video that I produce. And so bullet points can work very good for keeping you on track with the video and what you're saying and doing in the video, but it's not a scripted text. It's just a reminder, like if you're giving a speech. For those of you who've given speeches before, bullet points can work very, very great. They don't have everything you're wanting to say in the bullet point, but it's basically a set point in your memory to regurgitate the information that you already have in your head so that you make sure you cover all the points that you want to in that video. So Monday, you're doing your hooks. Tuesday, you're doing your bullet points for the videos for that week. So on Wednesday, you're going to do your shoot, and you want to shoot for 5 to 10 videos that you're going to produce on Wednesday. And realistically, you only need to do maybe 3 to 5. the more you produce that are good quality, the better, right? Because like I said in the last video, if you don't want to publish, if you want to be on a publishing schedule, okay? So if you have, let's say, 5 videos you record this week and they're all really good and you're on a 3 video per week publishing schedule, keep that schedule, save the 2 videos for another week when you are maybe on vacation or sick, and you can still post on your weekly schedule. So you need to choose what kind of video schedule you're going to have and pick something that's not necessarily a low bar for a standard, but something that's not going to be too extreme. You can always increase the rate of video production in the future, which you're probably going to want to do simply because you're going to figure out how to have this routine, how to do it consistently, and it's going to start coming more and more naturally to you as a content producer. So over time, your video production rate is probably going to increase in how frequently you're posting videos, but for short term, just starting out, shoot for 3 to 5 videos per week and make sure that that's something you can actually sustain. Keep it a sustainable number. So Wednesday, you're going to shoot your videos. You're going to do 3 to 5, for example. And if I could write, that would be fantastic. And so you're going to do your 3 to 5 videos on Wednesday, and that's it. So each of these days, you're going to have maybe 10 minutes of work for Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, you're going to have probably an hour of work to do, and that's going to give you your content for that week. All right, so we're on to Thursday. Thursday is when you're going to edit the videos. So on Thursday, you're doing your video editing. So you can use a number of platforms like I've talked about in the past. I'm very much encouraging of people to use just their phones and use this editing software built in to the various apps. For example, TikTok is great, right? YouTube has something similar. Each social media platform has an editing program built into it. They each have their own pros and their cons. If you want a good, solid platform that you can do everything on, I use Capwing. You guys can go to the link in the video description, see my landing page there, get a link over to them. I think you get a discount for using that. I'm not really sure. I need to double check that I have it set up. But I use Capwing to do all of my video editing. So it's very quick, very easy. There's AI built into there. It creates all my transcripts, all my captions. You can edit by transcript in there. You can cut out filler words or pauses very easily with AI in there. And it's a great tool. I'm not trying to sell you guys on it, but I'm saying that's the one that I've chosen. I've tried out a couple of dozen of them, and that's the one that I use. But once again, try to do this for free for the first year and use just your phone and the software that's built into the social media platforms for doing your editing. So basically here you're looking at about, for 1 week, you're going to work 4 days. You're doing this part-time for yourself. You're working 4 days here. You're working maybe a total of 2 hours per week. And this 2 hours per week is going to start building your revenue. And that's all I want you guys to do at first. You're working 3 to 5 videos per week, 2 hours total time per week. You've got your schedule laid out right here. And this will build you a sustainable, long-term social media profile and video content production plan that's actually going to put money into your pocket on a weekly and monthly basis. And with time, that income will grow. All right, now I want to talk about scripting that sells. All right, so scripting that sells, traditional sales will tell you that you want to have a hook, problem, solution formula for creating the content online in order to sell your product, right? So you have your hook, which is usually the first 3 seconds of the video, and followed up by the problem, and then how you solve the problem with X product, okay? And that's how you sell the product, and that's traditional sales advice. Now, I will say this formula can help quite a bit in establishing how you format your content, but I see a lot of content online where people are simply following this formula, and it's a very methodical, very salesy type video, and that is not what I want you guys going for. So instead of having a traditional hook, problem, solution, you're still going to maintain the idea of that in the back of your mind while you're creating the content, because you do need to have something to hook the viewer or eventual customer in the first 30 seconds or even better 3 seconds of the video in order to keep them watching your video. But you don't need a long view duration in order to sell. You do want the long view duration, but if you have a list of subscribers already built up and established that are already following your content in the first 3 seconds of the video, you tell them exactly what the problem solution was, and that's going to sell them a product. Well, then that's great. But you do want to have new viewers get hooked into watching the video. So you do want to keep that in mind in the first, like I said, 3 to 5 seconds of your video is going to be ideal in order to get people to actually watch more of your content. So that is important, but I don't want you guys to focus too much on that. I don't want you to sound like a sales video. You're not trying to create an ad for your viewers to watch, right? You're creating content for them to help them, to inform them, to give them some information, to give them some beneficial content that's going to benefit their life, okay? This isn't about selling a product. It's about helping your customer or your viewer or your subscriber get some information they didn't have before in order to make a more informed choice. Okay, we're not selling, we're helping people find the right product for their problem. Now, the problem obviously is something your video content is going to be on, right? Like, I've tried all these pre-workouts and none of them work for me. And so this is the one that I found that actually works. This is what I like about it. This is what I don't like about it. That kind of content is what's actually going to sell, because you don't want to have people just watching your video and only seeing the positives of the product you're promoting. They want to see the negatives as well. That's how you build trust. If you're only showing them the positives of the product, it sounds like an ad. People don't like watching ads. They skip through ads. Okay. So, to get them interested in the video, you present the problem and you present the solution, and you talk about how it fixed the problem, what could be improved on it, what you didn't like about it, etc. You talk about all that stuff. It's not just a one-sided piece of content. You share the full story and maybe talk about how the solution isn't perfect. You still have a little bit of a problem, but it's different in such a way. So you're giving them a full story. That way, if they decide to buy the product, they're going to know exactly what they're getting. They're not going to be coming back to your channel and saying, well, you didn't tell me X, Y, and Z about this and how it's not fixing the problem you said it fixed, right? You don't want that. It does not build trust. It does not bring viewers back to your channel for positive reasons, and it's not something that you want to get stuck into. So scripting the sales is important. However, the way you format your content is important, but what you're actually saying in your content and giving them the full story is going to be more beneficial to you in the long run. It's going to be more beneficial to your viewers in the long run than simply having a sales script developed around this system. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're structuring your content. You're not pushing a sale, you're helping people make an informed decision. And hopefully that leads to them buying the product you're promoting in the video, or the genre of products you're buying in the video, and you get commissions off of that. But you don't want those people to be upset about buying that product. So give them the full story. All right, now I want to talk about filming fast and filming smart. Okay, so this is something that you guys definitely need to be doing right off the bat. Now, there's a couple of things to keep in mind. When you first get started, I want you guys to be putting your content on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, mostly in the form of short content. This is going to help you guys establish the kind of content you want to create. It's going to give you a time limit. It's going to make you follow that formula we covered in the last section to an extent that you're comfortable enough with that. And later on, we can focus on doing longer form content specifically for YouTube, although those videos can be also posted on TikTok and Instagram. TikTok, now you can do 10-minute videos. So you want to have your videos in about 10 minutes for long form content. Now, for initial recording, I want you guys only working on short videos. You can do long form if you want, but my preference would be for you to stick with short videos. That way you can knock out multiple videos at a time, get them posted, and start creating an audience and start getting some revenue into your pocket as fast as possible. Okay, the best way to do that is the short form content on YouTube and TikTok. Instagram is good too, simply because you want to start building an audience there. Some industries or niches don't do so well selling on Instagram. Instagram, in my opinion, is kind of a dying platform, but it's still good to have out there and still good to help build an audience and pull them in from Instagram to your other platforms. Okay, and you're going to have that set up on your landing page. I'm going to do another video on your landing page, but keep that in mind as well. So when people watch your content, they're going to have access to your other channels with a simple click. All right, so filming fast and filming smart. We're going to be doing the short form content. So you're going to knock out as many videos as you can, at least 3 to 5 videos per week, filming with your cell phone in a vertical position. So you're going to simply hold your phone up and record yourself talking. Here's the hook, here's the problem, here's the solution. Once again, you're not doing it as a sales video. You're doing that as the content format without actually having a scripted sales text. Okay, all you need is your cell phone camera. I know lots of people that I got a friend I mentioned in another video who's doing over $100,000 a month in sales. All she does is record vertical on her phone and post to TikTok. That's it. And she's doing over $100,000 a month in earned commissions off of TikTok with a rather small audience. I think she's got like 40-something thousand followers on TikTok now, which is decent size if you're just starting out, but that's nothing compared to what big TikTokers are doing, right? So that's a huge income with relatively small work. She's doing 6 little videos per day like that. She doesn't do them every single day. It takes her maybe 10 minutes of work per day, and she's bringing over $100,000 per month in affiliate commissions into her pocket, into her bank account. All right, so that's all I want you guys to do at first is the short form vertical content. You might get a ring light off Amazon for like 15 bucks. You don't need to go extreme or anything like that. Please don't go extreme. I don't want you guys buying anything other than maybe a ring light with a tripod until you've started creating significant revenue. And by what I mean by significant revenue is more than $1,000 per month consistently for several months. And that should be relatively easy to start making right away. Most people, I think, if you are consistent, if you have a good niche that you're passionate for, and you're producing 3 to 5 videos per week, I would say it's quite reasonable to hit $1,000 a month in affiliate revenue within less than 6 months. Like 6 months would be slow, okay? I think honestly somebody should be able to do that within about 2 months. You're going to be repurposing this content. By that I mean you're recording everything in vertical position and you're posting it to 3 different platforms at a minimum. There are other ones you can post to as well, like Clapper or Facebook, but those in my opinion aren't as important. They're going to be slower growth possibly. Something like Clapper might be taking over for something like TikTok or Instagram even in the near future. We don't know, so it might be good to establish yourself on that platform as well. There are a ton of platforms out there. I don't want you guys to get overwhelmed. Pick 3 that you're comfortable with utilizing and post that same piece of content on all 3 platforms. So you got 3 platforms with 3 to 5 videos per week, and that's going to start generating you money rather quickly. Now, when you start moving into longer content, this is one time when I would say you might want to pay for an editor or an editing program on your computer. Okay, I use Capwing. There's a link in the video description. You guys can go check that out. I do get an affiliate commission off there if you use that link, but that's one that I honestly use for all of my content. That's how I edit all of my videos. Since I mostly do long form content right now, it's worked very well for me. I've used a lot of different platforms before for creating my content and for editing it. And I record everything on StreamYard and then edit on Capwing for all of my content. And when you start doing the longer content, something like Capwing has AI built into it. So you can take a long form video and it'll automatically cut out your pauses, your ums, your filler words, etc. Right? And then with a couple clicks, you can go over to AI and have it edit everything into short videos. So it'll come up with a number of short videos based on that long form video you have. You can go in there and edit by transcript very easily and download those and upload those to the social media platforms. So one long form video can create multiples. Like the last video I did had 14 short videos off of that one long form video. So I got long form on YouTube and then 14 shorts for other social media platforms. Okay. So it becomes very easy to repurpose content when you start doing long form and you have a video editor, but that is going to cost you money. And so I don't want you guys doing that until you're already making enough money to cover that and still have some money left over every month to put in your pocket. Okay. So please keep that in mind. Don't go out too fast buying stuff that you don't need. Start with the short form content until you're cash flowing every month. And then you can start looking at doing long form content and having a video editor and things like that. All right, for this last section, I'm going to keep it rather short. This is going to be kind of a wrap up of the video. I do want to cover how to stay sustainable. We laid out a format here earlier in the video talking about how to block out time each week, 4 days per week, 2 hours per week, where you're going to create all the stuff for your content. You're actually going to produce the content and post the content in those 2 hours per week. Okay, so moving forward, staying sustainable, staying consistent, and having fresh content each week is going to be vitally important. So using the format I had before is going to help you significantly in staying consistent for a long period of time, which is vital to success in any business industry. My girlfriend and I were talking last night about how so many business endeavors or even things in life, like for example, getting fit, losing fat, building muscle, all those things in life that are desirable take consistency for a long period of time. And that's the easiest way to assure success. Okay, you can't go turn yourself into a pro bodybuilder overnight. It takes years of dedication and consistency. Same thing with investing in the stock market. It's not going to turn you into a multimillionaire overnight unless you already have significant money to invest and you know how to do it, or you have proper guidance. It's not an overnight, one-day game. So this is consistency over a long period of time. And I need you guys to wrap your minds around that and be committed for the long term in creating this content. Okay. So to wrap everything up, we have a layout in the beginning of this video where we talk about how you're going to be producing your content with 2 hours per week, 4 days per week. So total 2 hours per week. You're going to be filming your stuff fast and smart with your phone in vertical position. You're going to be repurposing that content by posting it across multiple platforms. When you move into long content after you've started earning revenue every month, you're going to be starting to do long form content and splitting that up into short form videos. And so you're getting multiple uses out of one recording. Okay. Now, when you start doing short videos, it's good, of course, to keep those saved on your phone. You can use those later. You can repurpose those shorts later on in order to produce fresh content. Now, moving forward there are going to be times when it's difficult to know what content to produce next. And so here I'm going to bring up ChatGPT, because ChatGPT has been massively helpful for me in my businesses, and it can be for you as well. I have the paid for version, it's the pro or whatever they call it. And it's like $20 a month. I think that's totally worth it. Don't pay for it until you're making money. Okay. I want you guys doing all of this for no startup costs, no money out of your pocket. I don't want you spending anything until you've made enough money to cover the cost of that thing that it is you're purchasing. Okay. I want you guys to stay cash flow positive from the beginning. So ChatGPT can be very, very beneficial when you're trying to create content. You need ideas. You go in there, you explain what you've been doing for content, the kind of audience you have, and have it spit out a list. Ask it to spit out a list of ideas for content that you could produce. And that is great for brainstorming and coming up with new ideas and new content for your channel. So I don't want you guys to rely completely on ChatGPT. I want you guys filming this stuff as natural as possible. So I don't want you using scripts. I want you just sitting down and recording on your phone. You're just talking to your phone like it's a friend or a family member, and you're sharing your experience and how the product solved that problem. Okay, that's it. No scripting, please. So you're not being mechanical with your content. But with, like I said, with ChatGPT, if you're needing new ideas, that's a great way of brainstorming new content that you can produce, and you're not going to be scripting it. So moving forward, I have a list of 300 hobbies. I got on ChatGPT and I asked it to create me a list of 300 popular hobbies in the United States that people are passionate about. And so for each of these 300 hobbies, I'm going to be doing a long form video. And for each of these hobbies, I have 5 sub niches created. So the video is going to be rather long. I'm creating a long form off of it and then 5 shorts off of it. But I'm going to go through each different hobby, the 5 sub niches of that hobby. I'm going to talk about the demographics of the target market. I'm going to talk about their income levels. I'm going to talk about what they're wanting to buy, what they're looking for, the kind of problems they're trying to solve. And it's going to help you guys monetize any of these 300 hobbies. So this covers everything from, acting to airsofting, baking, brewing beer. There's all kinds of things on here. So over the next year, I'm going to be putting these videos out. If you guys have a specific hobby that you're passionate about, please look out for that video to post. And then you guys can see 5 different ways you can monetize that starting right away. I'm giving you guys, each video also has a blog article. So if you go to the blog article, there are links within the blog article to each company you can sign up for an affiliate program with that has products that fill that niche's needs. So if you're going to, for example, backpacking, right? There are 5 sub niches for backpacking, and each of those 5 sub niches has 3 links directly to affiliate sign up pages for you guys to click on, sign up, and start selling. So I've made the process extremely easy for you guys to get started, especially after I roll through with your favorite hobby on these video series, or in this video series. It's going to be extremely easy for you guys to get started. I'm giving you all of the tools. All you have to do is actually sign up for the affiliate programs, create your solo.to landing page or Linktree, whatever you prefer to go with. Put that link in your video description. Put all your affiliate links on that solo.to page or Linktree page, and direct people to that link in your video description or the link in the bio, depending on the platform you are working with. I also have my 2 books out. You guys have probably heard me talk about these in other videos. I have the Passion Profit Planner. This is a great guide to getting started. There are 13 lessons to start you out in affiliate marketing. It walks you through how to sign everything up, get joined into affiliate programs, create your solo page. All that kind of stuff is in the first 13 chapters. After those first 13 chapters, there's a 90-day planner. So each day it walks you through, gives you some brainstorming ideas, it gives you a motivational quote, and there's a section there to journal your progress for that day. So to stay consistent, this is a 90-day planner once again, and this will get you started on the first 3 months. And by the time you're done with the first 3 months, if you've been consistent in doing this every single day, or at least 5 days a week, it takes you 5 minutes a day. It's not a big deal. Instead of watching TikTok, do this book. This is available on Amazon. You guys can go check this out. and get a copy for yourself off of Amazon. And that's going to get you started. By the time you're done with the 90 days, if you've been consistent with it and actually producing the content, you should be putting money in your pocket very easily. The second book I have here is Know Your Buyer. This walks through 50 different buyer demographics. It talks about their interests, their hobbies, their passions, the demographic info, like I said, so income level, standard of living, things like that. And it talks about a whole bunch of different psychological aspects to those different types of people. So, for example, the first one is a profile of stay-at-home moms seeking flexible side income. We got another one here, night shift workers looking for passive income success. We got digital marketers looking for software and funnels, military veterans building a second career, RV and travel trailer owners optimizing mobile living. So for each of these, it goes in and breaks it all down. Demographics, psychographics, preferred content formats, best platforms to use, ideal presenter type, top performing content, angles and hooks, affiliate products they buy, idea product price range, affiliate earnings for somebody in that niche, reoccurring one-time commission opportunities. So it talks about different things you could sign up for, lead magnet ideas that could convert, ad angles that work, major turnoffs or mistake marketers make. So for each of those 50 buyer demographics, all that stuff is laid out. It's great for information on how to know your buyer. That's why I gave the book that name. But more importantly, it's great for you to learn about yourself. So I suggest you go onto Amazon, you pick up a copy of this book, you read through the different buyer demographics, and you highlight what you can relate to. And it's going to give you a better understanding of yourself. And when you're producing content, you can portray those attributes that are already part of yourself. And that's going to help you tie into your viewer audience. It's going to help you relate to your viewers. And it's going to build trust because you're more aware of yourself and you're able to show yourself more truly in your content. And that's going to help you massively. So thank you guys for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next one and watch for those 300 hobbies coming out in a video series. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.